Brighten people's days.
It's so quiet. It's so quiet.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Broadcasting across California with Nikki Lorenzo. This is Inside California Politics.
And glad you're with us this week for California's only statewide political show. I'm Nikki Lorenzo in Sacramento. So on the show today, we go one-on-one with the latest candidate to announce a run for governor in 2026. His name is John Ktladt. He's a tech entrepreneur from Silicon Valley running as a Republican. He joins me now in studio. Mr. Ktladt, thanks for being here. I wanted to get right to it because you're new to politics.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, you're running as a Republican. Tell me why, because you were a Democrat, right?
Yeah, I was a Democrat for a long time. So you start with easy questions, huh, Nikki? Well, listen, I mean, like many Democrats before me, you know, I've evolved over time, you know, as a father, as a business person, as a citizen. I mean, I've been in California 30 years, and the state's changed a lot. We'll talk about that. But I think that, you know, my position's changed, and I'd say that, like the famous quote from Reagan, the party left me, like it's left so many people. And I think, you know, in California, in terms of the problems that we have and the ideas and policies that can change California for the better, I think they're more on the Republican side. But one thing I also firmly believe is that we have to do things together. Okay, we're all in this thing together in California. And, you know, as governor, I would seek to build bridges with Democrats and independents. And if you're going to win in California, whether it's the primary June 2nd or the general 11-4, you have got to appeal to a broad cross-section of people.
Yeah, you need those independents for sure.
Absolutely.
So was there something, when you say that the party left you, was there something specific that happened, or was it a series of events?
I'd say it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Okay.
To be honest, I think that, listen, you can't look at the news these days without seeing the convolutions of the Democratic Party. And the party, I think, is lost its center some time ago and is trying to find itself again. But again, I believe that a conservative approach to policy that's focused on free market and freedom and First Amendment and respect for individual rights, that's a much better governing philosophy for California going forward.
All right, so again, we mentioned you're a first-time candidate. Obviously have had a lot of success in your life. Why jump into politics? Because obviously this can be, you know, an ugly world. Why subject you and your family to this? What was there something specific where you said, okay, I got to jump in, I got to run for governor, knowing how difficult it is for Republicans in the state?
Sure. Well, you know, I was on John Fleischman's podcast the other day, which came out this week, and he said to me, I can tell that, you know, you're authentically a Republican because no one in California would switch to being a Republican, then run for office, given how blue the state is.
Right,
okay,
right.
So, you know, I'm doing this out of conviction. But to answer your question, you know, I've been, for the last year or so, traveling the state for my podcast, which is called State of Gold. We talked about it. I've talked to Democrats, independents, Republicans, activists, professors, even had Alex Michelson on the show. And I started that as a way to get civically engaged and start a company to put great content out, have really serious conversations. What I've learned about California is that I believe that our problems are government-made. They're man-made. And, you know, I'm a doer. I've spent my life building and doing and fixing problems and serving customers. So I'm rolling around the state doing my podcast. I didn't think when I started it I'd actually run for office. I think
so that was something that happened while you were doing the podcast.
It absolutely was. I think that, you know, I'm a doer, not just a talker. Okay, I think the problem with our politicians is that they're talkers, they're not doers. You know, if I hear Newsom or someone else say, again, we're the 4th largest economy, and tout that, like that's actually helping the lives of regular people in California, I think my head's going to explode. So, you know, I think Prop 50 also influenced me. You know, I came out very strongly against Prop 50. We did a little documentary called The Big Rig. We called it The Big Rig. We actually had a semi rolling down the, you know, down the freeway with a, you know, tooting its horn. I think that I came out against what happened in Texas.
So you believe
the Texas gerrymandering is wrong.
Okay.
California followed a bad example, and the California example is wrong. And now we have all states across the country following the bad example of these two states. Our state and California and Texas. I think that California should be a shining example of a functioning constitutional democracy. We should be leading the country and the world in good ideas. And I think that, you know, just because the Democrats have a supermajority and can bludgeon the Republicans out of existence, it's a bad example. The state will swing back. And when we swing back, and I think it will be soon, which is why I'm running, how do the Democrats want to be treated by the Republicans? We're all in this thing together. So I think that it was an evolution for me. I've been talking to every expert I can find, and I've really gotten underneath the issues. And I think that the next leader of the state needs to be unencumbered by some of these gross relationships that happen in Sacramento. Special interests.
Big one is labor, too. Labor.
Well, sure. Again, public sector unions, I believe unions have the right to do what they do. They have the right to try to serve their members, but, you know, public sector unions, $1 billion in dues, your California, $300 million donated in politics. They're buying, selling, and trading our politicians as the day is long. And that's disgusting. I have nothing to do with that. I'm not beholden. I also have companies. My first one was in my apartment in San Francisco called Guru.com. We ended up having 1 million contractors around the world. We matched contractors with gigs before there was a gig economy. Spent time running a big business at Electronic Arts in the technology world, and most recently spent a decade in real estate, both in commercial real estate and multifamily. My last company, Central, operates really innovative housing solutions in 19 markets across the country. I understand media and to bring a completely different approach to Sacramento that is objective, practical, and so I got very motivated to do that. I have 5 kids.
Okay.
Growing up in California, my youngest just learned to walk, was 11 months old, and my oldest junior in college. And I don't know about you, Nikki, but how many friends have you talked to where their older kids are telling them, I'm not sure I can afford to live in California. I'm going to move somewhere else.
It's what the Democrats are saying, too. It's part of the message from the Democratic candidates running for office.
It is, ironically, because they've helped us really get into this place. But I'm